Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Sports View. I'm Ron Cameron.
And I'm Denny McClain. I want to welcome you also. Today we've got issues of the day, including the playoffs. Roger Clemens has not made a lot of people in Boston happy, and of course the Michigan State upset. And the Lions won the biggest game of the year for the Detroit Lions.
What about Michigan being number one to University of Michigan?
Do you think?
Yeah, okay. We'll do my thing. A lot to talk about today, folks. Al Dietrich Oldsmobile in Waterford on M59 Highland Road at Airport Road. We have Healthcare Exchange. It'll save you money on your medical and dental bills. Serve all of Metro Detroit. That's an interesting place there, Healthcare Exchange. Caboodle's a nice family restaurant in Troy on 14 mile, a half a mile east of I-75. And Carphone Communications in Lathrop Village on Southfield Road at 696. Sinbad's at the River. 4 miles east of the Renson, one of the finest restaurants in Metro Detroit. Take Jefferson to Marquette, go to the river, and that's where you'll find Sinbad's. Play ball for all your sports memorabilia needs. And they've got some old-time Piston pictures that'll knock you out there. In Westland on West Warren, west of Wayne Road, right across from the Westland Mall. We have Pest Masters that will get rid of the pests that are bugging your home. They serve all of Metro Detroit. And if you've been injured, call the law offices of Swanson, Torgo, and Lyons. And they have 3 locations in Metro Detroit. Liberty Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-245-9080. We have Lunghammer Chevrolet right behind the Summit Place Mall in the Pontiac Waterford area off of Telegraph and Elizabeth Lake Road. We have West Maple Physical Therapy in West Bloomfield. Call 788-1400. And New Way Supplies in Utica. What do you want to start off with? Let's talk about the Lions. They upset Minnesota. A little bit surprised there.
They upset Minnesota? Well, I guess they did. They were an 8-point underdog.
Yeah, upset Minnesota. But Minnesota, both these are 2 teams with problems that played on Sunday. 2 teams with a lot of problems.
Well, I don't know how many problems the Lions had, but I know one thing that they proved once again: if you give the ball to Barry Sanders, you're going to win a ball game.
Oh, shoot. Barry Sanders is probably the best player in the league.
All of a sudden, he come out of the closet again. Wayne allowed him to participate in this exercise yesterday. And I'm real disappointed that Wayne didn't give him the ball more in the first half also, because I think they could have been ahead going into the first half. But it's great that they responded the way they did after being down.
That is great.
They came back, they played hard. Of course, Minnesota, not to put them down, but they are inept. I mean, if Jerry Burns finishes the season, I think we've got a scoop.
Well, I'd be very surprised if he come back coach his team last year. But when they made that Herschel Walker trade, giving up the depth that they had on the team for Herschel Walker, and he's been a complete bust. He's just not fitting in that offense at all.
See, let me tell you something. What's wrong with the Herschel Walker trade? They don't know how to use him in Minnesota. Their offense is not built around a Herschel Walker. Now, Minnesota's had some great backs like Herschel Walker, but it wasn't with this coach. It was with Bud Grant. Bud Grant is the guy that knew how to use those backs out of the backfield, the great big running back. And Minnesota's had a history of that. Well, Burns has gone and got this guy who was a great player and may well still be a great player, but they do not know how to use it. Burns is absolutely incapable of using Herschel Walker the way he's supposed to be used. It's nice to note that Galliano threw for 299 yards, 16 for 31, 2 interceptions. But I guess that the first one I think he threw was intercepted by a lineman from Minnesota.
And another one that was intercepted. It was an interception, but there was a defensive approachment for Minnesota. They just butchered that play completely. That was a turning point of the game, I think, when that play was called back.
But I am willing to redo my forecast.
Oh, no, Denny, what are you saying now?
Well, first of all, I'm a fan. You know, that's the problem.
All right. What are you saying, Denny?
9-7.
Oh, Denny.
9-7.
Denny.
Wayne, 9-7, boy. Now you bust your butt. But no, I think 9-7 is what they'll do.
I'm still trying to figure out who's putting something in Denny's diet pop here.
I also believe they found out.
Spiking it.
I also believe they found out that Rodney Peete, who has a proneness for injury to begin with, doesn't really need to be a consideration for your number 1 quarterback. This guy, Galliano, can play. He even runs the option. He's a little bit quicker than I thought, too. He ran it a couple of times.
Well,
yesterday.
yeah, but I mean, he's still a journeyman player. He's not a first string.
But let me tell you something. If Wayne Fonts is going to allow his quarterbacks to run an option, then he's going to need a storehouse full of quarterbacks.
Yes, he is.
Let's play football. Let's quit all these nickel-dime games. Let's not hurt kids just to win a ball game. I don't think, and I think that's what we've done with Rodney Peete.
Sure. And I don't think Rodney is injury prone. It's just that the way they're using him, he's going to get injured.
Yeah. You're so vulnerable. You've got 300-pound linemen that can run the 40 and 4.4, and you got a guy crushing in at you at 300 pounds, somebody's got to get hurt. And normally it's a little guy who is certainly normally more brittle unless you happen to be Barry Sanders. But Sanders looked terrific. They got him the ball out of a passing situation. They gave him the ball out of a running situation. And if you give him the ball, again, it proves if you give him the ball that you can win a lot of ball games. It'll be interesting to see what happens next week with Kansas City.
Denny, your lock of the week, though.
Huh?
Tampa Bay.
I have no reason and no excuse for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is supposed to annihilate the Dallas Cowboys. Supposed to beat them by 3 touchdowns.
Dallas stinks.
Nobody was hurt down in Tampa. The pizza pie quarterback, he was there. He was healthy. He threw the ball, but he didn't throw the ball very well. And I think it's a perfect indication of what happens when a team takes the other team too lightly, and they think they were going to blow them out, and unfortunately they did
They
not.
still should have blown them out, though. There's been a lot of surprise in the NFL. The Lions, of course, we're doing our picks on Thursday, but the Lions go to Kansas City. They'll be fit for bear. Kansas City just butchered one the other day on Sunday. We taped the show.
To Indianapolis. Did they lose
Indianapolis? Yeah.
And it's hard to believe that Indianapolis can beat anybody.
Yes,
I mean,
it is.
except they got a pretty good quarterback. And I think, they're going to, every once in a while, they're going to put some points on the board. They seem to be a team that if they get a little momentum going, they can score 2, 3, 4 touchdowns in a row. The interesting thing about it is they're in a position, normally, catch up. And I caught part of the game yesterday, and their big concern late in the game was, how do we run the clock out? Because we're always playing from behind.
Yeah.
We don't throw the ball when we've got a touchdown or a 10-point lead.
Denny, are you going to make a different prediction next week when the Lions get killed by Kansas City?
The Lions are going to barely beat Kansas City, but they are going to beat Kansas City. And it's going to be a late run, about an 80-yard run by Barry Sanders. I had a dream last night. An absolute perfect dream. Let us talk about the playoffs for a moment.
Well, let's go to you want to then go back to football and Michigan.
Yeah, then we'll go back to when we come out of the next segment. We'll go to Michigan State, Michigan. Roger Clemens has absolutely no guts, not an ounce of guts. Here he is, coasting with a 1-0 lead. He's their pitcher. He's the guy that has won 20 ball games for him, and he became gutless when it counted. Going into the 7th inning, you got to lose with your best pitcher. You have to get behind with your best pitcher, and Roger chose to take himself out of the game because he's tired. Rogers only pitched 1 game in the last 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 2 ball games. How can he be tired at this point? And they said, well, he was up around 100 pitches. Roger, on numerous occasions in his career, has thrown 140, 150, 160 pitches. Roger Clemens was gutless the other day. He got out because Roger Clemens didn't want to be responsible for the loss. But directly, not indirectly, directly, he lost that ball game the other night. He's got to lose the ball game. Then they bring in this bullpen, who you and I can hit. Joe Morgan, who I do not think is a Rhodes Scholar to begin with, and based upon what I read and I see, not a very nice guy. But I want
he's
to
a good guy.
No, he's
Joe
not.
Morgan's a good guy.
He's sarcastic. He's sarcastic with the fans and the media. But listen to me. What was he doing? Why was he saving his best reliever and not bring him in? You got to remember, every inning you shut Oakland down gives you another opportunity to score a run or two. I don't know. It doesn't take a Rhodes Scholar to manage a Major League Baseball team. It does not. And why Joe Morgan chose to allow that to happen, it's incredible. I mean, it really is incredible.
Well, I think Joe Morgan's done a pretty good job getting the team where they are, because I don't think that's a very good Boston team. They can't run. They have no power for the most part. And what they're even doing there, the fact that he beat Toronto out, he has got to be a genius in that way, because Toronto's got Boston beat 3-1 as far as talent is concerned. But they went in the tank, granted. But at the end of the season, Boston had it when it counted. And with that ball club, I don't know how the heck they had it when it counted, because they don't have much on that team.
Well, I don't think either one of them had it. I think they just outlasted each other. Boston was the one that bottom lined it. They on the 162nd game of the season, Boston just happened to be in first place.
Yeah.
Had the season run another 2 or 3 days, I mean, who knows?
Milwaukee might have
maybe
snuck up
Milwaukee, because it was absolutely ridiculous that either one of those clubs could have been in the playoffs. Nonetheless, Boston gets in there. But Roger Clemens, boy, I want to tell you, guts, he doesn't have any, especially when it counts. We'll be back with the Michigan State upset, and University of Michigan is now number 1.
generation of Oldsmobiles.
At Al Dietrich Olds GMC Trucks,
Choose from a great selection of Oldsmobiles.
including Cutlass Supreme and the restyled Cutlass CL.
Or hundreds of GMC trucks in stock.
Complete with an Uncle Al price that can't be beat.
For sales or service.
Let Uncle Al come through for you.
This is the new generation of
East of the Pontiac Airport.
On M59 in Waterford.
If you're bothered by a physical ailment, you should know about West Maple Physical Therapy in West Bloomfield, a fully equipped provider of outpatient physical therapy offering a wide spectrum of therapeutic and fitness programs for all kinds of injuries. West Maple Physical Therapy offers a comprehensive approach with professional evaluation and planning of treatment to achieve the optimum quality of rehabilitative care.
The priority at West Maple Physical Therapy is to provide the best in rehabilitative care.
Call West Maple Physical Therapy now at 788-1400. Are you bugged by pests? If so, call Pest Masters at 522-4640 for a free estimate. Fully licensed using state-certified technicians, Pest Masters will rid your home of all household pests. You know, this is flea and bee season. No problem for Pest Masters. Their motto, if you got them, we'll get them. If they come back, we'll come back. No charge to you. Pest Masters fully guarantees their work and serves the entire Metro Detroit area. So rid your home of pests. Call Pest Masters 24 hours for a free estimate, 522-4640.
Ours is not a perfect world. Accidents can and do happen. The law firm of Swanson, Torgo, and Lyons will tell you that you don't have to pay for someone else's mistake. For injury or death caused by defective products, professional malpractice, construction site accidents, or the careless acts of others, call Swanson, Torgo, and Lyons, personal injury lawyers with experience. For a free consultation, call 281-4500 in Southgate.
We're back on Sports View. University of Michigan, #1, playing Michigan State on Saturday. First of all, you seem to think that game coming up Saturday, looking ahead here, is going to be a blowout. I don't.
Michigan State?
I think Michigan's going to win, but I think it's going to be a close.
Michigan's going to beat them by 3 touchdowns. #1, George Perlis has, and we've said this on a number of occasions over the past year that I've been here with you, that Michigan State continues to show no creativity, no imagination, and it's every time you get a third down play, it seems like we run over the left tackle or right tackle. George Perlis needs somebody to come in with some creativity. Maybe George hasn't got time to be a coach anymore. After all, he wanted to be the AD job, he wanted to go over the president's head, and he wanted the job. He got the job. Now, not only does he have to do a good job as the AD, he's also got to do a good job as the football coach. And if Bo Schembechler is right, and I believe he is, no man could do both jobs, despite what George Perlis has always said. Of course, George has always been chasing Bo's shadow and continues to do that. Unfortunately, he's chasing the wrong part of the shadow. It must be from the waist down, because George, I'm sorry, George, you are no Bo Schembechler.
Well, I don't think Bo Schembechler was that hot to begin with to be here, and I think the media has protected this guy on a lot of things.
First of all, Bo Schembechler has had a program that at least we don't know of any problems or of any scandals. Secondly, they've won an awful lot of ball games. I know he's never been #1.
He's never won the big ones, for the most part.
I agree with you. But his program, if we believe everything we hear, has been impeccable. He's done all the right things by most of the kids. You can't believe everything you hear, but until somebody proves otherwise, you have to accept it. There's a brand new book out right now about George Perlis, Not Very Kind, about all kinds of drug use over there, steroid use, and a number of other things that supposedly he allowed to go on, or at least look the other way.
It happens all over.
Sure, it happens all over. And why they choose to focus in upon George Perlis, I don't know, other than...
Media doesn't like him. And, well in all fairness, but in all fairness to media, they're all right. They're out there to dig up dirt, and they get it. When they get it, what do you do? Just sweep it away? No, you got to tell the people about it.
I'm a little bit surprised that, of course, they ran Bo Schembechler's book recently, excerpts in the paper. But now they've got another guy who's got this book out on Perlis, and no one seems to want to run excerpts on George Perlis and some of the things that he alleged has approved of that go on that field or within the university itself. I'm a little bit surprised. But Michigan, of course, beat the death out of Wisconsin. Didn't beat them up as much as I thought.
Let me interrupt you a second,
Michigan State and Iowa. Iowa, who...
I was not that good either.
But I picked Iowa with the points, remember?
You picked Iowa with the points.
And I want to tell you that Michigan State, they're going nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. They may beat Wisconsin.
But you know, back to what you were saying about. I think Michigan State's a pretty good team. Back to what you're saying about Bo. The Bo book was an autobiography, basically a milquetoast, a softball book. So I mean, you're not going to have anything in that. They're not going to see the real.
Let me get back
happening.
to Perlis for just a moment as we continue to talk about the book. But the thing about it is, Perlis came out the other day and said the kicker was lousy, the quarterback was lousy, the line was lousy, offensively and defensively. But I didn't hear him say, George Perlis, was lousy. George,
maybe he didn't think he was.
George, I don't think George has ever picked on himself. I think George thinks he's pretty near perfect, as Mark Scott likes to say from time to time. I'm near perfect. And George got a long way to go, I think. And,
the old Casey Simmons,
by the way,
I managed great, but this team didn't play worth a
By
darn.
the way, if this is true, I ran into somebody who was very familiar with the alleged negotiations between George Perlis and the New York Jets. I am told by this individual there was never a money offer made to George Perlis.
I've heard that before, too.
Never made a money offer. So that's... So George, I'll tell you one thing, he's a great negotiator and he's a great card player because, man, he did not have the hand apparently like he told us. Michigan this week plays Michigan State.
Yes, yes.
And again, I'm telling you, it's a 3-touchdown blowout.
Oh, minimum. I don't think so. Number one, Michigan is rated number one. I don't think they're a number one team. I really don't.
There isn't anybody else.
I'll tell you, I'm glad to see it, though.
There isn't anybody else out there to be number one right now. This may be the number one team in the country.
Oh, I'm not saying...
And compare it to the Boston Red Sox, Toronto Blue Jays. Michigan may wind up being number one because there isn't anybody else.
That very well could be.
We'll be back with more about the Red Wings and other things right after this.
Kingsborough Pharmacy is your headquarters for all types of athletic supports and braces. Whether you're a weekend athlete or a professional athlete, we have braces from the neck down to the ankle and supports from the shoulder to the wrist. A certified fitter is always available to assist you in choosing the correct support for you. We accept most major third-party insurances with your doctor's prescription. Call Kingsborough Pharmacy today at 535-8480 and talk to a fitter for more information. Kingsborough Pharmacy, where your health and fitness are our main concerns.
Collectors of sports memorabilia know that sports cards make a great investment, and the best card deals around are found at Play Ball in Westland. Play Ball carries all major card manufacturers for all major sports: baseball, basketball, hockey, football, and boxing. Play Ball is the exclusive distributor of Zaycos Pro Action Sports Images. Take home your favorite pro or have one made to order from a personal photo. Hey, comic book fans, Play Ball has all the hottest comics and a huge stockpile of back issues. Play Ball in Westland. Sports cards and comics. Collectibles that are both fun and profitable.
Healthcare Exchange Limited, the specialists in healthcare coverage, want to assist you with the high cost of dental care. For less than $2 a week, you could be reducing your total dental bill up to 65%. Receive treatment from specialists in every area of dentistry while dramatically reducing your out-of-pocket expenses. Healthcare Exchange offers immediate coverage without the burdens of complicated forms or waiting periods. For more information on reducing your dental or other medical expenses, call Healthcare Exchange Limited at 427-2288.
Hi, this is Denny McLean for the New Way Supply Company in Utica. And New Way has been serving the community for over 50 years and is your headquarters for everything for your kitchen and bath. New Way Supply takes a hand-on approach to its unique, innovative showroom. Working conditions in bathrooms containing functioning baths, toilets, and sinks have been created for your inspection. With many satisfied customers, New Way Supply offers a wide range of plumbing fixtures from the basics to high fashion. New Way Supply Company on Auburn Road in Utica. Call 731-4000.
We're back on Sports View. Since we've done talking Michigan State, let's move over now to the Red Wings.
Well, I saw parts of the first two games, and I watched most of the game last night, despite the fact that the playoffs were on. There was a football game on another channel, and there was a great movie. And I mean, I'm watching 5 or 6 things, like I guess most of us.
Was it the Leave It to Beaver rerun you were watching?
No,
the Return of Leave It to Beaver?
It was some movie on ABC last night about a young man and a. Never mind. What does that got to do with this show? Anyway, the Red Wings are feeling each other out, and I think Brian Murray got a long way to go with this club, but so does this club have a long way to go with Brian Murray.
Oh, I think
it just
so.
Looks like
they're confused a little bit out there.
No, I'm not sure if it's confused. I think everybody looks like they're so tentative, and they've heard about this guy's reputation as a disciplinarian. they look like they're afraid to make a mistake. They don't look like they're skating full out. It doesn't look like they've allowed them to come out of the barn and go get it. The only guy really going to get it is Probert. Of course, he hasn't changed at all.
I don't think he's going to get anything because I think he's looked awful flat and slow.
Looks slow. He's looked very,
well,
very
he's
slow.
always been slow. He's always been slow, but I thought he'd be a little bit more.
But he's been there, but he's not there right now. But, you know, again, it is getting back. The season just started, but I also want to remind you that early in the season, these points to win a ball game are just as important as they are at the end of the season, especially in hockey.
Yeah.
And they just need to sharpen up their skates a little bit and get moving.
Yeah, the system, Brian Murray's a different type. He's more of a disciplinarian than Jock was. And the system, you know, we're so used in this town, a lot of hockey, dump it in and go chase it. Well, they're not doing too much of that. They're trying to make the plays out there. And at times they look pretty good. But at other times they're just, the plays just aren't complete, as they like to say. And I think it's a whole new system. It's going to take time to get used to it. I think this team can battle the top because I think the division, although it's improved, it's not that strong a division still, and I think they can still battle with Chicago and St. Louis for the top. The Red Wings will make the playoffs, no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I believe that they're not getting the puck out quickly enough. They just don't appear to be getting the puck
They're
down
having
the ice.
problems in their own zone. I thought that's where this team would be improved. Coming up with Rick Green and Brad McCrimmon along the defense. And Rick Zombo was one of the best defensive defensemen in the National League. I felt that this team was really would improve their work in their own zone. And they're allowing too many goals. I thought at the start of the season you're going to see the Red Wings cut their goals against by 50 this year, I would think.
Yeah, I think, well, last night's ball game with Philadelphia is just one of those games. You have a bad night, and they score all kinds of goals.
Well, the Philadelphia fans were on them pretty good because they did not look sharp in the couple games they played.
That was the first win Philadelphia had this year, which is unusual because they're normally a pretty good franchise. But I was surprised that they're just playing it slowly, and I watched most of the game last night. They're so slow on the ice, and maybe they're tired. Maybe he's working them too.
Tired?
Maybe he needs to give them a day off. I don't know. I know he's going to bust their butts here the next 2 days.
They've got all summer off, Denny.
But no, it's still not the point. You go through such intensity getting ready for a season that you may be tired by the time the season rolls around. That happened to me in baseball one year. Worked so hard in spring training, it took me a month to catch up with it. Also, a couple of interesting notes on some of the NFL teams that have done very well. The Bears are now 4-1. What a surprise. I'm telling you. I still think at best they're 500, but they got to lose an awful lot of games now to be 500.
This isn't baseball, Denny. 4-1, you can lose that right in a few days. This isn't baseball. The Bears, they're overachieving a little bit, I think, with the team. They had something to prove. They went in the tank last year. They got off to a good start last year, too, let's not forget.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think you're going to see the Bears this year going to the tank. The last place team in this division is the Lions.
I don't believe that. I think it's Minnesota and or Green Bay. But I also want to tell you that we were talking about the Bears. Pittsburgh scored a number of touchdowns yesterday.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, 4 offensive touchdowns. They had not scored one all year until yesterday. And I want to tell you why they scored 4 touchdowns.
Basics.
They ran an option play on a number of occasions yesterday. Buddy Brister, their quarterback. Bobby Brister ran a number of times on the option play. I hate, and I know you got to do what you got to do to score a touchdown, but boy, these kids, quarterbacks, their futures are so limited if they continue to run these option plays. And I think at this point in time, Pittsburgh is so desperate, like we are, to win a ball game, that the coaches don't think about what's going to happen 6 games from now, next year, much less 5 or 6 years from now, if these kids can stick around. And lastly, there was a column written by Joe Falls this week that he thinks Cecil may have had the MVP snatched by him by his attitude in New York. And I want to tell you, if he had the attitude that Joe Falls describes in the paper with the New York writers, he's chopped liver and it's all over with. He won't get the MVP.
Okay. Okay.
We'll be back with some closing remarks right after this.
Longhammer Chevrolet GO is now open for your inspection at the Summer Place Mall. We offer a large selection of new and used cars and trucks at very competitive prices. We have new, expanded hours for your shopping convenience. Service is ready when you need us. We offer convenient shuttle service, large parts inventory, and a service crew with over 100 years experience. We are proud of our new dealership, and we've built it for your convenience. Remember, we will give you $1,000 cash if we can't beat your best deal.
Nice place to take the family for a great meal is Caboodle's Restaurant in Troy. Be hungry when you go there because Caboodle's serves large portions, a complete menu from seafood, Mexican and Italian dishes, and breakfast served anytime. Caboodle's is the only place in town that serves loaf of soup, French bread filled with homemade soup. Call for carryouts 585-1447. Caboodle's Restaurant is in Troy on 14 Mile, a half a mile east of I-75.
At Caboodle's, we serve quality food at affordable prices, and I promise you won't leave hungry.
Hot. It's going to get hotter, but you can stay cool. The Liberty Heating and Cooling Beat the Heat sale is on. High-efficiency air conditioning for only $999. Save 20% on all air conditioners and furnaces. Or get a high-efficiency furnace and your air conditioner is half price. And we'll pay the sales tax. Plus get 7% financing. Call 1-800-245-9080. Most major credit cards accepted. Call now and get a free pad, free setback thermostat, free electric hookup. The Liberty Beat the Heat sale. Call now.
If you're in the market for a car phone, then go to Carphone Communications in Lathrop Village. At Carphone, you'll find the finest in mobile phone equipment, better values, and a large selection of not only car phones, but auto alarms, radar detectors, and pagers. Installation and service department on premises. Customer satisfaction guaranteed. Carphone is an Ameritech 5-star dealer, and Ameritech Service has the largest coverage area of any company in the Midwest. Your one-stop, full-service mobile phone dealer is Carphone Communications, Southfield Road at 696 in Lathrop Village. Call 557-8855. For more than 40 years, Sinbad's at the River has served great steaks, seafood, sandwiches, homemade chowder, soups, and chili. Large portions, reasonable prices. Businessmen's lunches and dinners with daily specials. The menu at Sinbad's is often copied, never equaled. Open 7 days, entertainment Wednesday through Saturday in Sinbad's new upstairs Sohar room. Top bands playing a variety of music for your dancing and listening pleasure. Come by boat or car, come as you are, to Sinbad's. Plenty of valet parking and guest wells. Sinbad's, 4 miles east of the Rensen, alongside the Detroit River. Call 822-7817. We're back closing it out. We were talking about the playoffs early, the National League playoffs. I believe Pittsburgh's going to win. They win the one game in Cincinnati.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Although on the other hand, I'm pulling a little bit for Cincinnati too. Either club, and I'll tell you one guy who's got to be dying as we speak with Cincinnati doing what they did this year, wire to wire. They led the National League East.
Pete Rose, you're going to say?
Pete Rose has got to be jumping up and down, screaming and hollering, because I can't imagine one guy pulling against an organization like Pete Rose is as we speak.
He may be pulling for him.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Lou Piniella walks in there and wins it wire to wire. And you know, the obvious conclusion is, man, these guys had a lot of talent. It just took one guy to lead, and Pete apparently didn't do that.
Yeah, they had a lot of injuries under Pete, though, so it's not all Pete's fault. But there was a lot of people wondering about Pete Rose as a manager. Well, our advertisers in closing out the show is Al Dietrich Oldsmobile in Waterford on M59 Highland Road at Airport Road. We have Healthcare Exchange. It'll save you money on your medical and dental bills. Caboodle's Family Restaurant in Troy on 14 Mile, a half a mile east of I-75. We have Carphone Communications in Lathrop Village, Southfield Road at 696. Sinbad's at the river, 4 miles east of the Rensen, Jefferson and Marquette. And take it to the river. Play ball with all your sports memorabilia in Westland on West Warren, west of Wayne Road, across from Westland Mall. We have Pest Masters that get rid of the pets that are bugging your home, serving all of Metro Detroit. The law offices of Swanson, Torgo, and Lyons. If you've been injured, 3 locations in Metro Detroit. Liberty Heating and Cooling. Call 245-9080. We have Lunghammer Chevrolet behind Summit Place Mall off Telegraph and Elizabeth Lake Road. West Maple Physical Therapy in West Bloomfield. Call 788-1400. And New Way Supplies in Utica. Their number, 731-4000. That's it. We'll talk to you next time on another edition of Sports View. Bye-bye, everybody.